Okay, so as it stands, I've had Starlink for a year now, and I currently have a video up for when I had it for 2 months. Starlink was only available for a total of 3 months at that point, and so the overall, performance of Starlink as the internet was pretty good, especially compared to what I had it option-wise previously. I do understand that cable does not run out here, and so 4G or like a cell phone style internet is all I have here. And I just want to give a 1 year update on what are my speeds looking like now, and also do some quick explanations of what I was dealing with and I don't seem to be dealing with now. So first thing, let's just go straight into some speeds, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you about my experiences as well. Alright, so first off, I'm going to do a speed test on Google, and I just simply type in speed test. This is generally what comes up, and so as you can see, I have not ran one. It is currently 2 p.m. Central Time where I am on a Wednesday. So this should actually run extremely well. Most people around me are at work. And there we are, over 50 on download, right? This is extremely good. Woo, my upload. Alright, so now on most days my upload is not this high. Okay, there we go. That's getting closer to normal. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so your internet connection is very fast. Now this is through Google. So let's go ahead and go over to Ookla. Now, it states that I'm connected in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll show you here in just a second what it's talking about, because this is actually correct as far as Starlink goes. It automatically, I didn't choose these. It automatically picked these. So, wants to know my, you know what, I don't really care for it to know. And so far, it is agreeing with what Google has to say. Now, understand this is satellite, and so these will vary. I want to tell you that in the evenings that it actually drops down a bit. But when I mean drops down, like still in the 30s, which is still extremely well. However, I have seen it at points in the evening where people should be at home, should be on, still like in the 70s. So it's quite good. As you can see, 61 and 9 on here. And let me now show you what I was talking about. Why does it say Atlanta when I live in Alabama? Alright, so this is Starlink coverage tracker. It is not ran by Starlink, and I know it looks kind of weird right now. Let me see if I can scroll in some just a little bit. So you can kind of see the outline here of Alabama. And I'm right in the middle of the top. Now if you look, this green triangle is the closest home pop, which is, like its own little hub. So my internet effectively is feeding from here. Then of course you have where this site is saying, hey, there's satellite should be about here. Now if you go out, you can see the other hubs. So long as you're close to one of these, like I mean this is far, but it's actually, I guess, like if you lived here, you're probably going to be there. You're going to be at the closest one to you. So as you can see, that's kind of how Starlink's working. You have a hub, it's feeding up satellites, back to you, to the satellites, to the hub. And this is what makes it seem not so, bad. And again, I can't say that this area is accurate, but this is one way to kind of get an idea of how many satellites are closest to me. Because right now, I actually have a lot of satellites far from me. I normally have, like right now, which got this one, I normally have like another 2 that are around. I got one coming up now. As you can see, this one's saying, hey, you are feeding off this satellite. Alright, so you just seen the speeds. They're really good. That is normally what I get. I have seen less, but for the most part, really well. Now, when I first got Starlink, I had mentioned before, they just recently became available in my area. And so playing online games with other people, the connection was horrible. I disconnected so often, it was infuriating. However, if all you're doing is watching YouTube, Netflix, any type of streaming service, almost flawless even then. Now, let's look forward to a year later, past, I'd say 3 months, that playing online with people, no issues. Very rare do I get disconnections. Normally, I would almost say that there's moments where it seems like I have better internet than some of the cable users. Now, that of course, that's not all the time. And it's one of those things when at the end of this, still satellite internet. However, if you're in an area that, like, you can look down the road and see the cable line, but it just doesn't come to your house, this still is perfect. Because chances are, whenever they do finally get that cable to your house, as the people closest to where I live that do have the closest cable internet complain about it. Everything about it. Resets, just not working, the cable itself, the internet not working, a whole load of issues, where when I look back at my complaints and what I've thought, I said, oh man, Starlink disconnected me from, Warzone. It minor complaints compared to theirs, because theirs is overall not working. Netflix might freeze 5 seconds here or there every other day. Yeah, I have no complaints on streaming. I'm certain that I'll go to play a game this evening and today will be the day it disconnects. But you know what? It hasn't disconnected on me in a long time, and I trust it. When I get on, I now can log in and say, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get on there, I'm going to play, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to play with my friends. And I know that I can complete the task, or at least feel very confident that I can, and in the event that I don't, it's just going to be a one-off issue. In the same way that we talk about cable internet, I feel like I have it better currently, but I'm not also going to tell you that it's better than cable internet, because I have learned that areas I've lived in had the worst wires for cable, and it pointed towards that was where our issues really were at. So I can't tell you that. I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, this is definitely better than cable. But you don't have cable access, or if you're on the edge of the grid for cable, this is probably going to be the best option for you if it's available. And if it hasn't been available very long, do expect more problems than I'm speaking of, because I did have problems early, but now I don't have those problems, or I don't seem to have them. Things have gotten figured out, and it's much better. So if you haven't tried Starlink, it is a bit expensive to get started. I can't even remember, it's in my other video. It's in the hundreds of dollars to start up, so it is costly. You do own the equipment, I guess, technically. Because if I ever move, I can just call, hey, look, I've moved it, and you got to reposition where my satellite's at, and so that they'll know, or my dish is at, and then so the satellite's know where to look. But outside of that, the service is great, and it has been worth every penny. Absolutely every penny. If you do swap to Starlink, let me know how your experience goes. I think ours went from meh to hell yes. So I hope your experience is great. I hope this helped. You guys take it easy.